It's no secret that Star Wars fans almost universally hated The Last Jedi. The fan base was in such a resounding disapproval that a boycott formed and helped make Solo, a Star Wars story, bomb in the box office. This was meant to act as a signal to Disney to start taking the fans seriously. Although we've yet to see anyone at Disney actually take notice, there's hopes that maybe someone in a position to enact changes might consider pandering more to the fans. J.J. Abrams, who directed The Force Awakens, which compared to The Last Jedi was an amazing Star Wars film, is now directing Episode 9. Abrams said in the past that he had no intention of directing more than one Star Wars movie, but with the lack of volunteers wanting to work on a Disney Star Wars movie with Kathleen Kennedy involved, Abrams turned out to be the only willing qualified director. Now, if Abrams decides to go the route he did with The Force Awakens, trying his best to cater to old-school Star Wars fans, here are a few ways I think he can help repair Star Wars lore and the Star Wars brand in Episode 9. My name's Gio, and this is a Fail Train Breakdown.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hello everyone. First, I just want to thank everyone for supporting my last video. The response was great and doubled this channel's sub count. I really appreciate the support. Sadly, because of the music present during one of the interviews, I most likely won't be receiving any of the ad revenue from that video because of a bogus copyright claim. So if you would like to support this channel, we have a Patreon down below. Every dollar goes right back into the channel to help improve content quality for you guys. Alright, let's get started. Number 1, the Knights of Ren. In Episode 7, we were introduced to the Knights of Ren, who are essentially Kylo Ren's little band of miscreants, or so we assume, since there's close to no information about them or their origin floating around. In Episode 8, Rian Johnson has Kylo destroy his helmet in a fit of rage. I guess nobody told Johnson that this helmet was basically Kylo's membership card to the Knights of Ren. That's kinda like an F1 racing mechanic burning his team jumpsuit because his father told him he looked silly in it. This whole scene was really cringy and kind of broke the immersion even more for me in the film. JJ can help amend this by having a scene in Episode 9 where Kylo returns to the Knights of Ren and is presented with a new, more badass helmet. Maybe with like dragon horns or a laser attached to the side. I don't know. Just give him his helmet back so we don't gotta look at that pouty face anymore. Seriously, you destroyed the one thing that made him badass. Number 2, Luke Skywalker. What Rian Johnson did to Luke in The Last Jedi was disturbing, to say the least. I agree with Mark Hamill that the Luke we got was not the Luke that we deserved. To throw gasoline on the fire, Johnson effectively killed off Luke at the end of the movie, which I find kind of ironic because JJ made sure to leave Episode 7 open-ended to make Johnson's life easier, only for him to make JJ's life with Episode 9 a job and a half. I wish to see Luke return, as a proper Luke Skywalker in Episode 9. I don't care how he does it, and no, a Force Ghost isn't good enough. We need a proper return of Luke Skywalker, and I can think of the perfect way in which we can bring him back in, which I'll get into later on in this video. Finally, I, like many others, were upset that Luke didn't have his green lightsaber with him in The Last Jedi. We get a flashback with him using it, but that's about it. When he force fights Kylo, he's using the currently destroyed Anakin saber, which I'm pretty sure was Rian Johnson insulting the intelligence of the audience by saying we wouldn't be able to figure out that Luke wasn't real by giving him a destroyed lightsaber. Anyways, Luke's green lightsaber is my favorite lightsaber in the Star Wars movies, so I would love to see it return some way in Episode 9. Number 3, Rose Tycho. Do I even really need to get into this? I mean, honestly, I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but damn, give me Jar Jar over this horribly written character. How could we possibly fix this, you might say? Well, sit right there and let Uncle Gio answer that question for you.
Kill her.
No, seriously. She obviously suffered some pretty traumatic injuries at the end of The Last Jedi. Having her die in front of Finn in Episode 9 might give him some strong driving force for his character in the next movie, and would give Tycho more relevance and positive effect on the movie than if she was alive. Number 4, Rey's parents. This is the third Star Wars movie in the new trilogy, and Rey still seems like the perfect little ray of sunshine. See what I did there? Anyways, we could use some real character division for Rey in this final installment. I think introducing Rey's lineage would be a great way to accomplish this. Maybe having her preaching to Kylo about virtue, only to have someone reveal to her that she's the result of Obi-Wan's infidelity, that him breaking away from the Jedi Order's virtue caused one of her parents to be born, which led to her being abandoned to protect her identity. This is just one way we can add some proper conflict for Rey that isn't based around someone else, but within her own kind of chaotic relationship with her past. This could also be a way for Kylo to show a sort of remorse for his previous actions by telling her that he had lied to her about her parents. Number 5. Return of Snoke. Snoke's death in The Last Jedi was my biggest issue with the film as a whole. You have this extremely powerful Sith Lord who can throw his pawns across the bridge of a ship on the other side of the galaxy, as well as bridge the minds of two people so they can talk to each other on two different planets. Yet you're telling me this ultra force sensitive Sith Lord can't sense his Padawan turning a lightsaber sitting right next to him to face him. That thing's got a kyber crystal in it. If it moves a centimeter, he should be able to sense it. One way JJ can really turn this pathetic scene into a much more brilliant cinematic piece is by having this not actually be Snoke, but an elaborate force projection like Luke uses in the end of the movie. Snoke is powerful enough to fling someone around a room without actually being there, so him not actually being on the flagship would be completely plausible. In fact, one way to make it even more brilliant would be to have Episode 9 start like Avengers Infinity War. Imagine this. After the credits roll, we cut to the inside of a bridge on a Star Destroyer. It's been completely ravaged, and the dead bodies of stormtroopers and officers can be seen littered around the room. Consoles are sparking, lights dangling, and the camera zooms in on a throne sitting near the front of the bridge. Suddenly, a battered and bloody Kylo grabs onto the chair. Behind him, a hooded figure walks towards him, laughing maniacally.
Tell me, Supreme Leader, do you think me a fool like that pompous failure, Sidious? In your divine wisdom, did you think me foolish enough to be done in by my own apprentice like that pathetic worm?
This would cement Snoke's authority as Supreme Leader, and would show Kylo's inadequacy with both the Force and as a leader, becoming somewhat like Vader in Episode 6, who's beginning to regret his choices and is resigned to his fate. After all, Rey believes Kylo can be turned to the light, just like Luke wished his father could be turned. Earlier I mentioned having Luke returning would be a big plus, and I think having Snoke return would be a perfect way to include Luke. You can have Luke appearing to Rey throughout the film, helping teach her the disciplines of being a Jedi. And at the climax of the film, with Rey trying to convince Kylo to turn away from the dark, when Snoke steps in to finish Rey, Luke can come in and have this amazing battle of wills with Snoke. Imagine it, Luke and Snoke invoking this great power from the Force and battling each other with the very laws of nature as their weapons. Think of Dumbledore versus Voldemort in that scene at the Ministry in Harry Potter. Now, these are all just the opinions and suggestions from one Star Wars fan, one without a repertoire of big box office movies or best-selling books. So if little old me can come up with some of these ideas, I'm sure J.J. Abrams himself won't have too much trouble coming up with some good ideas. We can only hope that he keeps the fans in mind and, unlike his predecessor, caters more to what we want and less than what his boss wants. Also, let's hope Kathleen Kennedy gets the message and stops interfering with directors trying to make good Star Wars movies. I'm pretty sure she's the reason why so many directors keep resigning from these movies. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really appreciate the support, and this channel at the time of making this video is about to hit 4K subscribers, and we really appreciate every single one. My last video is likely going to get demonetized, so if you'd like to make sure your contribution goes directly to this channel and not some copyright crazy third party, check out our Patreon down below in the description. Every dollar goes right back into the channel. Also, we have a Discord channel where you can chat with me and Colin about, well, anything. On the Discord channel, you'll get advance warning of any new videos and streams as well. My name's Gio, and this is the Fail Train Network.